What happens after you die? This is one question that most people have wondered about at least once in their life. The only clues we have are the testimonies from the countless number of people who have been through near-death experiences and glimpsed the afterlife. Among us happy science believers, there are many who have experienced this. Amongst them is lecturer Shinji Matsubara, whom we had the privilege to interview and discuss his experience in death and seeing the hereafter. On the night of May 27th, 2014, lecturer Shinji Matsubara was taking a bath when he suddenly felt his head become heavy, his vision blurred, his surroundings distorted. Feeling this was serious, he immediately had his wife call the ambulance. By the time the ambulance arrived, his pupils were fixed and dilated. He was in an extremely critical state. He was rushed to the hospital where he was diagnosed with subarachnoid hemorrhage. A brain aneurysm had burst. The area of skull surrounding the brain was rapidly filling with blood. The blood filled half of his skull. For 3 weeks, he remained unconscious. The doctors told his wife he could die at any moment. Even if he survives, he may live in a vegetative state or suffer major consequences from the operations. She had to prepare for the worst. However, after 3 weeks, he miraculously regained consciousness. Around a month post-operation, his fever had completely subsided and the blood clots inside his head had disappeared. Subsequently, he went through rehabilitation and was able to return to work promptly. The doctor exclaimed, "Being able to go back to work without suffering any side effects after such a severe stroke is an extremely rare case." He was asked for permission to share his miraculous recovery at the next academic meeting. But what is really extraordinary is that during the 3 weeks from the initial collapse to full recovery, Shinji Matsubara had experienced the afterlife. During your near-death experience, what was the first thing you saw? It was like a garden in the countryside. It was a really peaceful and pretty place. I'm not sure if it was a happy science temple or not, but there was a building where a lot of people were gathered, and I was often amidst them. Did you meet the spirit of someone that you knew? It was as if I met the people that I wanted to meet. I met my grandfather, my grandmother, uncles, and aunts, all who have passed away, and my friends who had passed away before me. What was different about our world and that world? In the teachings of happy science, when your hand actually touches your chest and does not go through, it is a physical body. But if it is your spiritual body, then it would pierce right through. So I thought I would try that first. When I went to touch my body, I was able to physically touch my chest. I thought, oh, so this is the form I've taken on. It's the same as if I were in a physical body. But when I thought about how I am in the afterlife and am supposed to inhabit a spiritual body, my hand was suddenly able to pierce straight through my chest. I was also able to physically clasp my hands together, but I could also make them pierce straight through each other. I think I was in the other world for many days, but I didn't have to eat or drink anything, and I was absolutely fine. That was another difference. I also didn't have to sleep, take a shower, of course wake up in the morning and wash my face, hair, or fix my clothes either. All I had to do was think about fixing my own appearance, and it would automatically fix itself. So there was no need to even take a shower. When I felt tired, the spiritual sun in the sky would give me energy and I would feel energetic again. This was one of the ways that the other world was different to this world. Additionally, I was able to teleport. When I wanted to go somewhere, all I had to do was imagine the place, and in that instant I would be there. When you want to see someone, for example, when I thought, I want to see my deceased grandfather and thought about him, my grandfather appeared. Or when I thought, I wonder how my former classmate who passed away is doing. In the next moment, I was where he was. If you ask me, were you able to fly? The answer would be yes. What was it like when spirits appeared and disappeared? Instead of appearing in a flash and disappearing suddenly, they would appear hazily like a cloud or fog and slowly transform into a figure that I would recognize. That is my grandfather, for example. The same happened when they disappeared. They would get thinner and eventually disappear. When people on earth prayed for your recovery, how did that have an effect on you spiritually? I heard that a lot of people prayed for me when I was in a coma, and I think it was those people that manifested as hazy spirits in front of me when I was in the other world. When I talked to those people, I received their energy. And that's how I got better. It kind of felt like they were refueling my energy levels. Many such people came to me, and as I talked to them, I received their healing power and energy. I felt my spiritual body rejuvenated and energized. The physical body feels hard like a shell and heavy compared to our spiritual body. But through these prayers, I think my physical body also received the effects of it and recovered. Specifically, the lump of blood inside my skull got smaller and got absorbed. My fever also went down, and eventually I was able to regain consciousness. I became living proof of someone who recovered from illness. A spirit guide asked me if I would also like to observe the work of the spirits responsible for ritual prayers. The place I was shown was a workplace for the spirits in charge of prayers at Happy Science's monthly prayer ceremonies. There was a round table where about 6 spiritual beings sat. When a ritual prayer was conducted, a cloud-like thing would appear hazily in the center of the table. And when you look at it, you're able to feel it. What you can feel is the thoughts, resolutions, the attitude and effort of the people who took the ritual prayer. Whatever they are wishing for, what they want to do, and what they are aiming for, basically their mind can be felt. You can also feel whether they are serious or not. You can know how this person will react and what they will do when their prayers come true. When those prayers arrive, the people in charge of the prayers discuss it. It is decided who will do what work. Once the outcome is decided, the orders are given out. Instructions are dispatched to the appointed spirit. The instruction goes something like, a ritual prayer was conducted in the name of El Contrario. Therefore, you are to do this and that. The appointed spirit would answer, okay, I got it. I will do just that, and everyone will work, making the prayers come true. When I saw this, I thought about the people who say that prayers don't work or that nothing changes with prayers. Being able to see all this go on, I thought how outrageous it is to think like that. A prayer is dealt with more care than we can imagine. It will be answered in the most suitable form for that person, and the heavens will move accordingly for them. Therefore, it is very important to pray during critical times, and even more essential to allow the heavens to lend you their strength. What did the guiding spirits teach you in the other world? My guiding spirit said to me, "Since we have this opportunity, why don't we deepen your understanding about love?" There was a mirror that revealed thoughts and deeds, and it showed me things that happened when I was little. This mirror showed me what I had thought and then did at the time. But that was not all. It also showed me the people whom I had a relationship, such as my parents, siblings, grandparents. The mirror displayed how they guided me, supported me, and what kind of hopes they had for me. I could sense all of this just by looking at the screen. I came to realize what I was thinking at that particular moment in time and the effects it had when I said and did those things. Then, the person in charge of me, the spirit, said to me, "You lived your life selfishly, didn't you? You assumed things, and you did this and that in order to have things your way, didn't you? But how is it after seeing this? This is how they felt as they tried to protect and guide you. These are the ways they were affected by what you did and what you said." I could only respond with, "I never knew, I never realized." I learned that although we cannot see the ties between people, everyone is connected. Please try praying. Please pray for the happiness of the person next to you, I was told. So I did. What I saw then was something like a transparent pipe connecting one soul to another. This pipe is then filled with the energy of love, and when you pray, it flows to the other person's heart. This passes from one person to another and eventually flows back to you. It cycles. It showed me that as long as you have thoughts of love, it will reach the other person. How big was the mirror of showing thoughts and deeds? Even if I were to talk about the size of something from the spiritual world, it can't be measured with a ruler like we use on Earth. I can say the screen was about this big, but really, when I was looking and focusing on the mirror, it felt like everything around me becomes that time or that era. Did the guiding spirits look like angels? In my case, they were dressed normally. I think they did that to match my outfit, as I was wearing white shirts and work pants as well. I think it's possible that they appear differently depending on the person they appear before. What was a memorable scene from the other world? They also had prayer meetings in the other world, and I participated in it. There were still people who had lost their lives during the 2011 earthquake wandering about lost. So there were spirits who were trying to guide them. Amidst that, there was a rescue unit who came down to Earth to guide them, and I was able to see that. I heard the reports from the spirits that came back. It sounded like hard work. They said, it is most difficult to guide people who, when they were alive, had no religion or faith, or didn't believe in the afterlife, and thought that death was the end. Whatever you told them, they would say, you are just trying to deceive me, or your ulterior motive is to take me to somewhere weird and play tricks on me, and they won't listen at all. They keep refuting and say, I am not dead yet. I am still alive. So there is no way to guide them. That's why it's better to expose yourself to some faith while you are alive, like reading about it in monthly magazines, going to lectures at the temple or church, or watching a movie about it, for example. Then, if you were to be asked, you've seen it on a pamphlet before, right? Or you saw it on a news advert, no? Conversations can then begin like that. But if there is nothing like that, then it becomes really hard to guide them. This is what the Spirit said. That's why I realized once again the importance of having some sort of connection with a faith. How did time work in the spirit world? Time, as well as space in the spirit world, cannot be measured in the way that things are measured on Earth. But I think if you were to ask or inquire what month, what day, or what time it was on Earth, you could find out. In the spirit world, if you felt that the time was going really slow, it would be going really slow. Similarly, if you felt it was going fast, it would be going fast. Anyway, you can't measure time in the spirit world with a watch as you would here on Earth. However, the rules of cause and effect was still in place. I don't think there were any cases where the effect could come before the cause. Was there anything different about the spiritual sun and our sun? It's kind of the same, but also kind of different. It was always shining. If I was to pinpoint the difference, in the case of the spiritual sun, its rays would soak completely into your entire soul. Your soul would become rejuvenated and become full of energy. After this near-death experience, how has your outlook on the world and life changed? This experience has deepened my appreciation for life on this world. Life on this world is very precious and sacred. The spirit world is a world of thought, where you are together with people who you are comfortable and familiar with. If you consciously wish to meet with a person, you can meet with that person. But once that interaction has ended, you return back to where you were surrounded by people you are comfortable with. You won't be together with people who are different from you. On Earth, the physical world, there are all kinds of people, experts from various fields, and all these people are living together. You can meet and know many different people in this physical world. So this world is an incredible place to be in. It is as if you get to meet the people that you cannot meet in the spirit world. This is the virtue of Earth. Yes, a lot of things happen, and life is full of drama here. But there are things that can happen only on Earth. And of course, there is a lot to learn from them. After the near-death experience, it feels like the things that I do in this physical world feel more meaningful. Things that I used to dislike, now I see are valuable. And what is seen as ordinary here in this physical world is, when looked at from the spirit world, is a blessed opportunity and place for soul training, a place of valuable experiences. I have come to realize this, and that has been a very important lesson. Based on this experience, what are you going to do after this? I remember the last words that were said to me at the end by the spirit that was in charge of me. A new mission has begun. Your life has been prolonged until you are 90 years old. You have been given a new destiny to tell others of what you have experienced and to share the truth. Carry out that mandate until the end and live out your life. With those parting words, I return to my physical body. I want to continue spreading the spiritual truths, reshaping myself and living my life based on religious truth. I want to continue doing those things for myself and also to help increase the number of people who do this too. In my case, I was able to have the blessing of a spiritual experience. I want to tell people my story and help increase the number of people who discover their true self and live a life of truth.